Welcome to Deucecast Extra, live and in color on a Wednesday night, as we always are, talking whatever show we want to talk. We happen to be talking about the Acolyte right now because it's a Star Wars show. Of course, we're going to talk about the Acolyte. That's just the way we roll. But first, as always, what we want to do is go around the horn and talk about how we extra'd this week. Garrison, I'm excited to hear how you extra'd this week.
Yeah, me and my family went down to. I was invited to go down to Universal Studios with my family.
Nice.
And we spent some glorious hours in Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. And I got to do a lot of things I hadn't done there, ride several rides that I hadn't ridden before. Velocicoaster was a huge plus, although if you have glasses, be careful. Be very careful.
Yeah.
I almost lost mine. But I did get to do something cool, which is that I spent a lot of time in the Harry Potter land, and I finally went out and while I was there, I bought a wand at Ollivander's.
Oh,
a little
so
nice
jealous.
ash wand.
Ash wand. Okay.
It's a generic ash wand, not based on any character from the movies, just made purely for the parks.
Yeah.
It's an interactive wand. If you look at the tip, you can see that it interacts with things in the park that you can do like spellcast movements at. They have a whole map of places you can go around to. That's one thing I didn't really do a lot of, was do this stuff where you can go to these different locations and do the interactive magic. But I had a lot of fun. It's awesome.
Hey, that's what it's all about, man.
I also got a character wand or two, maybe, but I kind of liked the generic one.
I like how he casually says, "I got a character wand or two."
He's like fans them out.
Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe
that's cool. That's cool. Those boxes are annoying to get open, aren't they?
It's like an iPhone.
They are.
Yeah, they're kind of exactly like the iPhone box. Exactly. Oh,
puppers. To get them out of the boxes. That's the Elder Wand.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes, the Elder Wand.
Cool. Hold it like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you gotta when you're at Universal Studios in the Harry Potter land, you gotta pick up Harry's.
Of course, yeah. I mean, because who knows the next time you're going to be back? So you might as well pick up Harry's wand.
I looked through about every wand you could look through there. And in fact, I even had an attendant. I was like, "What's this wand?" Because I had no idea what that one wand was.
A lot of the characters.
I was looking at it, she was like, "Oh, it's a character from the Fantastic Beasts movies." Literally, like shaking your head like this. I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
You're like, absolutely not.
Yeah, you don't want the Fantastic Beasts. Well, Jacob, it's been a couple weeks. 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I was on.
2 weeks you were here.
Yeah.
How did you extra this week?
Well, let's see. I just got back from movie trivia. That's what I thought I was going to be late. I did get a question wrong. I got it backwards. What is the full title of Dr. Strangelove?
Or how I...
or and.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Strangelove or how I learned
and
to...
how I think...
Love the bomb.
Love the bomb.
Start loving the bomb and whatever, yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly how I did. I said... Or how I learned to love the bomb and stop caring. It's how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb.
Love the bomb.
Yeah.
Did your team still win?
No, we took third place. One team did not get a question wrong.
Wow.
A couple of weeks ago was Disney Princess Trivia. We once again took third place, but there were 5 other teams that did not get a question wrong, just like us. But my real extra... And I do that because I know Rhett hates that he's not allowed to do more than one. But my real extra is I've been watching the show that's back, and I'm just so happy to be in the universe again. House of the Dragon is rolling on all cylinders.
Yes.
And it's just awesome.
Man, those first 2 episodes, freaking amazing. I love it.
I've heard episode 4 is going to be crazy.
I've got to watch this. Okay.
I'm ready for it. The tough question is, back to movie trivia, what is the full title of Birdman?
Birdman.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
We were in Kansas last weekend, and we listened to Lord of the Rings on audiobook, the first book, and all I can think of is like a long expected journey. That's not it. It's something like
an unexpected journey.
Yeah, well, that's
That's
or
the Hobbit
unexpected
movie title.
virtue of ignorance.
And then if Garrison's dad was on here, he'd probably be able to come up with the full title of what E.T.'s full title is.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial. What's the full title of that?
And his many adventures. It's something
what
longer. Yes,
what?
There's a full title that they used. It probably was like a working title. I don't know that they ever used it in marketing, but it's like E.T. the Extraterrestrial and his many adventures on the planet Earth or something like. It's something along those lines.
I kind of like that.
I can't remember exactly what it is.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial is pretty.
Yeah, I mean that's
it.
That's enough. But
hard stop.
All right, so Jacob, glad you're back. I'm glad you're back to talk Acolyte. But Brian, how did you extra this week?
Well, you may have seen that REM won or was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and I'm an OG, like original REM fan. So I did my deep dive, and we have Life's Rich Pageant on a CD as well
as
Reconstruction of the Fables, also known as Fables of the Reconstruction, which I paid $2 for, and
that's
then
a
Murmur.
lot.
Yeah, Murmur.
Oh, Murmur.
So these are the old school REM. I'm not talking like
Automatic for the People.
Automatic. None of that. None of that bullcrap.
None of that garbage.
All the early '80s.
Like, you're talking about the early stuff.
Yeah, so
Murmur's probably the very first one I listened to. I have not even. I haven't gone back before Murmur though.
Yeah, it's funny how I still remember all the lyrics. It's like somehow in my 14-year-old brain, I still remember all the music, all the changes. So it's
nice.
It's deep in my brain.
Nice.
What about you, Mikey?
Yeah, look, I'm going to shout out, and I hate to do this because I hate to give this guy props. No, I do. I love Jeremy Burgess. He's one of the guys that's on our show a lot, and he hangs out in the Deucecast, which is our Discord server. And of course, he was giving me a hard time because I was complaining about shows dropping all their episodes at once, and The Bear is a show that apparently has done that in the past. And I was complaining about it and saying, I'm never going to watch The Bear. Well, I decided to go ahead and start watching The Bear, and I've got to tell you, it is excellent. I know the third season just dropped today, but oh, great. We've got Steve Palpatine. That is a Steve Palpatine. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I can't put that up in the chat because this is a family show, Steve. So I can't necessarily put that up. Yeah, there's some meta stuff going on here.
My mind is now broken.
I might need that reference revealed to me at the end of the show.
We'll talk to you about it
in the after show.
We'll talk off air.
We'll talk to you off air about Steve Palpatine. But anyways, I know you will. But
do we know
just
Steve?
Say Pete did not invite us.
Yeah, we were never included. Whatever. I'm not going to get off. Anyways, The Bear, really good. If you haven't watched The Bear, I'm 4 episodes in because I couldn't stop watching it and it got too late. I was like, okay, I've got to stop watching this. I've got to work in the morning. But I really, really love The Bear. That show is just so on point. Great cast. I loved seeing Oliver Platt. You do not ever get to see enough Oliver Platt. He is fantastic. I love him quite a bit. And then Casey Elliott, she's great in it. And then of course, the main cast is really good as well. Ayo Edebiri is fantastic. I'm blanking on the name of the star right now, but he's about to be Springsteen in a Springsteen movie.
He's got 3 names. He was in
Jeremy
Allen. James. That guy. Anyways,
the Thing's in it.
What now?
The Thing is in it.
Yes, he is. Eben Moss Bacharach. Yeah, he is no relation to the actual Bacharach. Exactly. Anyways, we are here.
I thought you were saying to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I said too. I was like,
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Michael's a secret Baccarat. We just didn't know it.
Exactly. We are here, of course, to talk about the Acolyte, the much maligned show. Not really. I don't know. Who cares? But I do, of course, want to give props to the creators of this particular episode 5. called Night. Episode 4 was called Day, if you don't recall that. Directing this particular episode is Alex Garcia Lopez, written by Cor Adana and Cameron Squires. Cor Adana sounds like a Star Wars name, so that's cool that the writer's name is Cor Adana, because that sounds like a very Star Wars name. Roth, I'm going to go to you first, just because you weren't here last week. Thoughts on, you could almost like combine these episodes, really. I mean, Night and Day, obviously combining the two episodes. Thoughts on these two episodes?
Yeah, I think this episode was stronger. Last week's kind of stunk, but I say stronger. It's still not my favorite show I've ever watched, but that's okay. I think a lot of the discourse on both sides, you've brought this up multiple weeks now, Mikey, is overly done on both ways. It's not the greatest show ever made. It's not the worst thing. It's loaded with some stuff that I would prefer not to be in it, but it is, and it's not that bad. Good lightsaber fights. I know that I'm sure we'll talk about this, but there was some discussion in the Discord today about best lightsaber fight versus, and like what makes a good lightsaber fight. I'm more on your side there, Michael. But very high quality action, which is a surprise and a nice one. That, because there's some stuff that definitely you're like, this is lower budget. But yeah, good enough episode overall.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, this episode by far, at least, was the most engaging of the season. And it's not necessarily just because of the fight choreography. Yes, certainly that was awesome, but I think that there were some really good character moments in it as well.
There's also some character moments that I'm not sure. Actually, I'm going to be interested to see how they play out, because how we left the last episode and how we ended this episode, it seems like a character made a flip, but then flipped back, and I don't really get why.
It's hard. I mean, self-preservation might have been part of that from that character standpoint. I mean, she was fighting for her life in her mind, or I mean, who knows? I mean, Jackie was going pretty hard at her. I don't think obviously Jackie would have killed her or anything, but I mean, there was.
But even before that and
there.
after it, it just, I was very excited to see that character flip to like, what have I done almost type of deal, and now it's kind of like, I'm back to my original mission.
Yeah. Garrison, thoughts on this particular episode?
I've seen a lot of love for this episode online, so I'm gonna hate. No, I really enjoyed the fights, and what I mean by that is, I thought that stuff was really well done. I really do like Soul still, and that's my favorite character in the show by far. And I know that ultimately he's probably not going to make it out of this. And he may have some dark secret we don't fully know about at this point. But he's just the character I care about the most in this. And when the fight ended and the story had to come back into everything, I realized how much I just didn't care about certain things in the story still. I mean, the fight was awesome. And the slaughter was, that was pretty
brutal.
Cool. It was pretty well done, pretty dark for a Star Wars show. When it was revealed to be him, I was like, okay, exactly what I've been saying on the extra for like 3 weeks. But
and same with Rhett. Rhett called that from the very beginning, and I was hoping that it wouldn't be that telegraphed, but it was, I guess. I mean, it would have been nice if it would have been like Coral or something, a little bit more creative. But that's not to say that there couldn't be some very cool things that happen with this character. We don't really know yet.
I'm interested in seeing where this all ends up. I do fear that this will ultimately result in Soul's death, obviously with May going with him, And May going from, like you mentioned,
why
saying,
do you
I'm
think
going to
it'll
turn
end up with Soul's death with May going with him? Why do you think May's going to kill Soul? I don't think,
because she's psychotic.
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't think that's her intention.
What? That's definitely.
Why did she just cut her hair to fool him?
I think there's.
That was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
Get off the planet. She just wants to get off the planet.
But
I don't know.
I don't know. I saw a lot of darkness from her in this episode.
No, you're right. I mean, you're right. So, Brian, thoughts?
How do I follow this?
Wait a minute. We can't not. I mean, look at the truth that's being spilled in our chat right now. I mean, it's just.
I know.
It's pretty good.
Incredible mystery.
So, to answer your question, this was the episode I felt like I started to care about these characters.
Yeah.
And there's a massive body count of dead Jedi, and that was kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
We've seen Jedi be killed before, but not in this sort of close-up, brutal way that Lucas and the other directors have, gone through Order 66 or like.
Dooku had a pretty brilliant death.
Yeah,
I know he wasn't a Jedi, but I mean, we've seen some pretty brutal Star Wars deaths.
Your heart didn't break for Ayla Secura or Plo Koon when they're, or the guy that's in this show that I can't remember his name, Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Ki-Adi-Mundi, yeah.
Yeah, so when they died on was it Geonosis? So so anyway, this was like really really brutal, and then I did like the sort of close quarters combat stuff they were doing. That was interesting. Yeah. So I liked this the most out of all the episodes I've seen so far, and I started to care about the characters a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I know Rhett is not joining us this evening, and really not watching the show that much.
I think he may be joining us this evening.
I don't know. I don't think he's joining us. I don't know. He could be joining us, but to his point, these characters that they wanted us to feel like some sorrow about, they really didn't. I don't know. They really didn't like build those characters up enough for us to care too much like what happens to them. Not that they weren't shocking deaths, but at the same time, I wasn't really like emotionally attached to Yord and Jecki yet. That's not to say that I couldn't have gotten there, but
I think
Yord was a character that we were almost built up to dislike him in every episode except for this one.
Yeah,
like,
he had some okay moments in this one.
And like in that way, it almost I wasn't really thinking of it, so it didn't necessarily telegraph it to me. But like looking back on it, I'm like, oh yeah, they made him like a good guy in this episode, and then they kill him. Like,
yeah.
Do you think they're gonna do this thing where we find out what really happened, and then we think they deserve what they got? Right? It's really gonna toy.
No,
I hope not, because
I hope not. No,
I really don't like the whole. I get it. The Jedi Order had issues, but we shouldn't. I don't want to demonize.
And here's the thing that I think that they made a very distinct.
And ultimately, real quick, I think a bunch of those Jedi were innocent. Even if some of them did something wrong, I think most of them were pretty innocent.
The red shirt Jedis, they're totally innocent.
Yeah.
Or even the Padawan gal, like she was not part of any of that, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly. And I think that they did a really good job of telegraphing to the audience, hey, this show's not about the Sith being good. I mean, this show is about.
In this episode,
they're like, the Sith is bad. He snaps a dude's neck. He murders Jecki like by doing a triple stab. I mean,
pretty badass.
That was kind of cool. I want a lightsaber that I get another lightsaber out of like that.
Or
did you notice it was like a dagger lightsaber? That's the first time we've ever seen one of those. Like shorter.
I mean, Yoda's got kind of a smaller lightsaber.
Well, obviously
and Ahsoka's
he does.
Second saber was shorter as well.
Well, hers, yeah, a little bit, but not like This was almost like
for sure.
quick stab dagger type style lightsaber. And of course the fact that he force pulls and does a double kill.
That was awesome.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad because the whole rhetoric going into this show is that it was going to be story from
that's rhetoric.
Rhetoric.
Brilliant.
Rhetoric. Yeah, going into this show was that this show's going to be from the perspective of the Sith, and it's gonna, and it's really not. It's really not that way. I mean, it's not from the perspective of the Sith.
It's supposed to be a duality. There's a good in it, which in a certain sense is very Star Wars. I do like that about the show. Star Wars has always been about good versus evil.
Yeah.
And is largely drawn across black and white lines.
Yeah.
And when things started getting gray areas, I kind of go, well, that's not exactly what George intended originally with Star Wars. You know, but there is some good stuff that comes out of things like Andor. I mean, the prison arc is brilliant, but getting back to this show.
Oh, yeah. Good gracious.
That's the one aspect of it I do like is that they're going for this duality thing clearly, where you're seeing both.
Hey, look, a comment that I can actually put up from Steve Palpatine. Needs more dyads. It's the best thing about Star Wars. I agree, Steve. That's a very good point. Thank you for sharing that.
Wait. The comment before that.
No, I'm not putting that up. I'm definitely not putting that up. So, I mean, we see this. I've got the helmet up for a reason, obviously. This is the Stranger's helmet, as he is called when you watch the closed captioning. He's called the Stranger. He's wearing a Cortosis helmet. Cortosis, I had no idea. I had to look it up. It's apparently from the EU, I guess. And it's a metal that can short out a lightsaber. So he has and block mind control.
Yes, Jedi mind probe.
It's like Magneto's.
It's like Magneto's helmet in a way. I had no. I look. I have read the EU, but obviously not all of it.
Juggernaut's helmet, by the way.
And Juggernaut's helmet. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's got a helmet and a gauntlet that short out lightsabers for a short period of time.
I liked that part a lot. Like that was a cool new thing to bring into the Star Wars.
Yeah,
I do like universe. And I know that it exists in things like the Thrawn novels, and I don't know if it may have been around in the EU before then, but it's one of those things that makes me go like, why is this not being widely adopted in the universe?
Why didn't they make the Stormtroopers armor out of that?
Right, exactly.
Right, and you see,
I guess there's not many Jedis around then, but
like the Emperor's, the Praetorian guards, their staffs can like block, right? So we've seen things that can interrupt Jedi lightsaber stuff, but this was unique. And actually, Cortosis is what Earl has. And that's why he's not here.
That's why Earl's not here. Yeah, he's got a really bad case of cortosis, so he couldn't make it tonight. That's okay. But so yeah, I mean, I think it added
about,
to
like you can't use cortosis by itself. It has to be mixed as an alloy with some other metal or something. So maybe that's why it wasn't really officially used in armor, because no one really figured it out except this guy. I don't know. I have no idea.
I really liked when who was it? Cord that grabbed his helmet, like Force grabbed his helmet and was like fighting him with it.
Yes,
that was pretty cool. That was a cool move.
After Jecki had knocked it off, then Cord Yord used it to.
Yord? I was thinking of Korg. I combined Korg and Yord.
Korg.
Cortosis.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm Korg.
Can I have a fight with you?
Can I have a fight? Yeah. You guys want to join our club? So yeah, I mean, it was definitely used in cool ways. Even the Jedi got to use it for a little bit. I mean, surprised that they went ahead and just wiped all the Jedi out except for Soul. I mean, that was a bit
I kind of
surprising.
liked that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a way to go.
Early-ish, but I kind of liked that.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought on it is that, like, one of the biggest complaints, and it's the stupid Star Wars fans that drive me crazy, even when they're like semi on my side.
Right.
They're like, there were 7 Jedi around and they couldn't sense the Sith.
Oh, well,
look at episode like Palpatine's right in the middle. Like, that's stupid. But also, what's stupid is like everyone being like, there can't be any Sith before that because the Jedi didn't know about it. And the Jedi can't contact with them. These guys might not make it out of here. That's kind of what this is showing, and like that's almost what brings me to think that Soul is not going to make it even back to Coruscant.
Oh, you don't think he's going to? Okay, interesting.
I don't know, but like people are so quick to jump on like they're going to screw up all this continuity that we've got so many episodes left that like give them some time. I'm not saying they deserve that much benefit of a doubt, but it's not going to be like they're because how long is this, like 100 years before?
100 years before the dawn of the
episode
Empire.
1.
No, not episode 1, the dawn of the Empire. So Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, so it's like 80-ish.
Yeah, 80 is before. There. Yeah, something like that.
So like they're not going to just have like a full Sith versus Jedi war. Like,
right.
Give them a little bit of credit on that account where like let's just watch the story and critique that, not what you think the story is going to be.
Yeah.
Right. So we've swapped where I don't want to jump all the way to the end, but
hey, what's up, Ted?
So we've swapped where the 2 sisters are now apart, but I think they'll come back together in some way, right? It's like how do we get Ocean May back in the same area, right? I don't.
Well, that's going to be. I mean, right now it seems like that could be tough. I mean, we've got the Stranger now has Osha.
Right.
It depends on what his motivation is at this point. Like he's wiped out all these Jedi. So like what is his motivation right now?
Well, he was straight up trying to kill May, like and they were protecting her, right?
Yeah. And
so they were protecting her from him. So it's like where are they going to go with this? I mean,
look, what they revealed to us, or what he revealed to us, is that he just wants to be able to wield his power how he wants to wield it without Jedi interference. Now
he wants to live his evil life.
He wants to just live his evil life. Exactly. Now, theoretically, you would think Soul would try and contact the Jedi as quickly as possible and let them know what he found. And from that point on, the Jedi should react and try and eradicate this Sith poser. I'm still going with I think he's a poser. I think that he is a poser in the sense that there's somebody above him that's not going to really like what he's trying to do, which is to get an acolyte. And so he's trying to get himself an acolyte. And the idea with Sith is to always, there can only be 2. So they're going to team up to take out the big bad. I mean, so
I like that.
That's just, well, that's not an original thought, but I mean, I agree with what a lot of people are saying.
Do we want to talk about Amanda's diss track?
Oh gosh, that was so. Look, I
don't
mean,
know what that's referring to.
I get it. She wrote a diss track about the fans that are unhappy.
Who did the main actress?
The main actress, yeah, it's on her Instagram if you care to see it.
Okay.
She's talented. She's a good singer, good rapper. I don't know. I mean, that sounds really.
Who had the big rap fight? Was it Drake and Kendrick?
Yeah.
Now it's Amanda versus the fans.
Versus
Amanda versus the fans.
But we're not haters. We're just.
She called them certified pedophiles. only Drake and Kendrick beef people.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't get it, but whatever. You know, so, if like Disney's going to let her leave that out there, then fine, whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Look, there's somebody that shares a name with a famous drug smuggler, that drug kingpin that still works with the company. So they're going to let their employees do whatever they want. if it falls in their values.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. All right, let's talk about the show.
To get back to this, so when the stranger has this dialogue with Soul, he's like, well, he said, and let you read my thoughts, but then his helmet gets knocked off, and then they have this discussion where I feel like the Sith guy was reading Soul's thoughts. Did you guys get that at all, or like he did, or I can't remember the line.
No, Yord definitely alludes to that earlier in the episode that he felt like his mind was being controlled. He said a reference just like he gets into your mind. So yes, there was a moment. Now I don't know that he was doing that with Soul. He was certainly goading Soul on to try and get him to strike at him, but that's a Sith trope. I mean,
Okay.
So I was fine with that. But the more interesting dialogue to me during all of that is obviously they know each other. Obviously the stranger is known to Soul because there was many references to "Don't you recognize me?" Soul.
So
I don't know.
Did Soul not see this guy when Osha was doing the
I guess
the wire on her?
Yes, they could be referencing that, but that'd be unfortunate.
Right, that would be very unfortunate. And if they've just forgot that Soul saw him then, and I don't know, it's confusing.
I know that Yord said, "Oh, it's you," because I think Yord saw him on that planet. Okay. But I don't remember if Soul actually saw that guy. I can't recall that episode.
With the poison, right? He made the poison.
Yeah, I think that'd be. Hopefully, that's not what they're. I want there to be a little bit more of a background because, I guess it was in episode 3. Venestra referenced the fact when she was watching May's fighting style that May was trained by a Jedi. So because of the fighting style that she had. Now, the only person that we know that May has come in contact with is the stranger or whatever.
Right.
Who would have been the only one that could teach her Jedi fighting style. So that means to me that he was a former Padawan or something.
Right.
But Yord, I think, was talking about the stranger's fighting style, saying it's so unorthodox.
It was erratic, right? But
erratic,
you can change your fighting style. Yeah,
to it.
That's intentional.
So that makes me think that he's not.
I think that could be intentional, though, to try and throw the Jedi. Because if he was trained as a Padawan, he knows all the moves. He knows all the training styles. We've seen a lot of that in this series so far. There's very specific training styles that the Jedi have. There's no nuance to much of their fighting style. And so if he, as a former Padawan, knows that, sure, he'll go completely erratic to try and throw them off. And obviously it worked on Yord. Yord was like, I've never seen... I mean, he was very thrown off by his fighting style. So I think that was by design. I think that's on purpose. I mean, because he knows how easy it is to throw the Jedi off because they're trained to do specific movements like they're samurai in a sense. I mean, they're trained very specific movement styles. So I don't know. I thought that interaction between the stranger and Soul was more that there was a background there. And don't you recognize me from the Jedi Temple? Not this planet 3 episodes ago, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. At least I would hate for it to be from the writer's standpoint that they're throwing that line in there because they met because of the potion thing. I think there's
it's too easy.
I think there's a bigger background there.
We also saw the first dual wielding lightsaber, I guess in Jedi history, maybe. What do you think?
Well, I mean, no. I hate to keep bringing up the High Republic, but
okay, so that's common in the High Republic.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of weird, and that's another thing we haven't got to see yet. I mean, and I know we see it because we saw it in a preview. Is the Jedi whip? So Venestra gets to use her lightsaber whip. We saw that in the preview. So that's why I think Soul gets back to Coruscant, or at least gets a message to them and they go out in the field. So.
Steve, do you Star Wars? That was chronologically after this show.
Thank you, Jacob, for backing me up.
Yeah, that's good.
Come on. We're just not going to take this from the comment section.
Push my glasses
up. Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah.
But anyways, I've been saying a lot. Garrison, do you have anything that you? I know, Brian, you took some notes. Garrison, did you have anything?
Bum, bum, bum,
oh, you want to talk about that already?
It's 35 minutes. We're longer than the
right.
episode.
Yeah, that's right. So last week, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit here.
We'll give it to you.
I thought that there was some Knights of Ren stuff going on here because of the helmet design. I was like, this looks Knights of Ren-y to me. And then at the very end of this episode, the Kylo Ren motif plays.
Wow.
I don't think that's got to be intentional. So, in canon, the Knights of Ren started. I don't know, before original trilogy time, I think, but I don't know if it started the whole Knights of Ren thing started this long ago. Now, in this series, I think, again, it was Vernestra. I hate bringing her name up again because I'm not in love with that character. But she mentions splinter cells of Jedi, maybe, is what she's referring to. So, I don't know. There's something going on here. Like, why would they use Kylo Ren's theme if not to allude to the Knights of Ren? Or maybe just the ongoing saga of the Sith. I don't know.
It would give credence to Kylo's helmet and all the Knights of Ren's helmets.
Right.
It would explain all that. It would also explain other Force wielders or people who can sort of accidentally control the Force or be trained to do certain things.
I mean, and the interesting
that aren't
thing,
Jedi.
The interesting thing about the Stranger, he did not necessarily call himself a Sith. He said the Jedi would call him a Sith. I know that's words, but still, I mean, he just wants to be able to use the Force how he wants to use the Force. Just like the witches, really. They just wanted to be able to wield the Force how they wanted to wield the Force. This guy just wants to do the same. Now, he's got more nefarious activities above and beyond the witches. The witches just wanted to be in their coven doing their witch thing. Now, they tapped into some evil stuff when these twins came about, because that's the only way they could have done that, because in Star Wars, when you're talking about creating life, Pelagus, his name comes up and there's evil stuff in there. But
do you think Bay will want to restart the coven? I think she does. Like, she's like, you've forgotten who you are to Osha.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I don't know. I mean, again, the motivation of some of these characters, now that this episode broke bad, basically. And so now I'm not sure 100% like the motivation of some of these characters. Like, from the Stranger's point of view, what more does he, if he really just wants to be able to do his own thing, in his mind, does he have to take out every single Jedi there is? I mean, is that his character motivation?
I think he just has to get rid of the Jedis that saw him. I think Soul is the last one.
Which they talked about that. So, okay, so if his one character motivation is Soul, but I'm also of the point that May in the previous episode basically said she's going to turn herself in. Now, this episode, she went back on that a bit.
Big time. Especially
big time.
At the end.
So character motivations
her sister
are
and her have a
blurred
good moment,
for her.
and then her sister kind of twists that moment a little bit, but
yeah.
But you were going to turn yourself in. You could have just said, "Hey, yeah, that's what I was going to do."
Right, but
she
now
flips it on its head.
I think that's all over.
There's one Jedi left, and he's the one Jedi that's going to truly believe her on that too, because he's been trying to give these twins the benefit of the doubt from the beginning.
Yes.
Right, but I also don't think that it would make sense from where her character is now for her to just outright want to kill Soul. I don't necessarily see that. I don't think that would be her being the Acolyte again. And I don't think she's any longer interested in being the Acolyte completely. I don't think she wants to kill the Jedi like she was before. I mean, obviously she's not the one that killed.
I wouldn't have thought that going into the episode, but then she flips on a dime.
Why knock out Osha and
take her clothes and cut her hair look like her, and then
to get away from the stranger, to get off world and get away from the stranger? I mean,
but just leave her sister behind. It's just I don't get it.
Well, her sister was going to take her in. Obviously, she doesn't want to be taken in anymore. And we get that. I mean, she doesn't want to be taken in anymore. She's changed her mind yet again on that. She doesn't want her sister to take her in, so she had to knock her sister out in that moment. I don't think you can go from that point to she still wants to kill Soul, though. I don't see that. I think she just wants to get off world. That's my, or like escape the situation.
I agree.
Writing wise, it's going to give us plenty of opportunity to have lots of dialogue between the Sith guy and Osha and Soul and May. It's going to give us all this opportunity.
My whole thing is, I don't know that May kills Soul specifically, but I think her choice to join him will get him killed.
Could be. Yeah. Now
I don't think the not Sith is gonna just go away.
We're forgetting the most important character, though, the little gopher Jedi.
Not a Jedi.
No, he is.
Basil.
He is a Jedi.
What?
Somebody listened to the audio description of the last episode, and it described him as a Jedi.
I think the audio description is wrong.
Okay. But I'm just telling you what the audio description said.
So
it described him as a Jedi. Basil, yeah. It described
Basil 100%. See, it seems like Soul is just like so oblivious to everything. He doesn't he know that it's not her. It's her evil twin sister.
And like if
he's
that's
been
another issue that
he's been through it. I give him a pass on this.
But we just went through the stranger being like, "I'm not taking this helmet off, so you can't read my mind." So we know that he's like able to read minds well.
Yeah.
And if he's got this attachment to Osha, wouldn't he hopefully eventually next episode it opens with he's like, "Wait, you're May."
Or maybe he's like,
I still think
I
think he's emotionally gone through it this episode, so I'm giving this whole thing a pass a bit. I know that that's giving the writers a big pass on this because he should have instantly been able to tell that was not Osha. Right. Logically speaking, he is a master Jedi knight. He should have been able to tell that was not Osha, but he's been emotionally through the ringer this episode. He's had to reveal some things that he didn't want. Well, he hasn't revealed anything yet, but he made a promise to Osha that he would reveal what happened. So he's been emotionally through the ringer.
He's sure he's physically exhausted too.
Physically exhausted, and we've seen in the past what that can do to Jedi. I mean, even Yoda gets physically exhausted when he's lifting the X-wing out of the swamp. I mean, so physical exhaustion, maybe his powers are weak. Yeah, exactly. Again, I'm giving the writers a big pass on all of this stuff because I'm hoping that it'll come around. But at the very least,
pass because you're an ally,
right? But I'm an ally of Jedi Basil because he is on the ship. He saved little Pip. He saved the droid Pip. He's on the ship. He sniffs out immediately because we see him sniffing the air that is not going to be, Osha. So he knows. So we'll see what he can do. I'd like to see that little guy wield a lightsaber.
I like how she just ripped Pip's head off and used it as a flashlight. I was like,
oh, I know. Yeah,
it was very cool.
Yeah.
The stranger surviving that seemed semi-cheap to me.
The bug
surviving
attack.
what?
surviving the bug attack.
Oh, they're just bugs.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It just like they had the chance to be like look, like this isn't like the because like with the reveal and like him being on the show already, wasn't that cool? So they're like, there's actually somebody above him that's about to come FS up. But I don't know. I just didn't care for that. Like, figure out a different way to.
I would have been. I would have personally been upset if a bunch of bugs took that guy out. That to me would show that he has no power at all. I mean,
right? He's got a lightsaber.
I think my problem is that like when it happens, they make it so obvious that like the only answer is that he like that actually did kill him, and so I guess I think like talking it through is that it's that's what the characters are thinking, that he's actually gone. But
the characters.
It just seems cheapish to me and not that creative.
I mean, they were using it obviously as a distraction to get out of the situation. I don't know that they are naive enough to think that killed him, but it definitely let them get away in that moment.
Right. It was a nice callback to last week when we first saw
it was a lazy writing callback. I mean, you gotta
never.
There's a lot. There's the show's
lazy is the word for it. Cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like these. I like the characters that we have left. I think that there's a lot of stuff that we can do with these 4 characters. We're obviously still going to see a scene of Vanessa Rowe using her lightsaber whip, so we've got that coming because we saw that in the preview. So I don't know. The writing's not the greatest in the world, and that's okay right now if we can.
It's not going to get better.
It could.
No.
I mean, the episodes have progressively gotten a bit better. Well, episode 4 was pretty bad.
Progressive.
Yes.
Episode 4 wasn't great, but this episode was serviceably good because the lightsaber fights were awesome. Some of the best lightsaber fights we've seen. Not the best by any means.
No, the best, Mike.
Not the best.
What did you think about the pace of the first half of the episode? Like there were several wipes to different areas of the planet, and it seemed too fast. They were trying to make it episode 4, right, and they did not. It was like if they're going to spend 30 minutes on Hoth, for instance, let's wipe from A to B. But it's like it was too quick.
They're using it. They're using it too much. They're sitting there. Oh, these Star Wars nerds are going to love all these screen wipes. Let's do this one, and let's do the circle one. They're going to love the circle one. Let's do that one. I mean, I hate that, in all honesty.
Really? Okay, I didn't know you felt so strongly about it.
No, I do feel strongly about it because, like, to your point, I mean, the episode is only 27 minutes, I think, of actual content. And to do like 4 or 5 wipes in 27 minutes is just.
Yep, I counted them, and then also
it's a mess.
It was just silly.
It's just it's trying to pander to people, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. I mean, I don't know. It's
you guys like my Dutch angle I got going here? It's great.
Yes, Garrett.
That's nice.
It's pretty good.
Oh, speaking of ridiculous editing, when May's running away, and they do the extreme close up on the stranger. And he's like, I'm following you. It's like, what if we Sam
that
Raimi
was
all of a sudden,
crazy.
What if we Sam Raimi all of a sudden with
such a bad shot.
Super zoom? I mean, it's just like, calm down. Stop. You don't have enough time to be doing all this crazy editing in a 27-minute show. Just calm down with all of that.
And in the day episode where everybody's waking up and going, they did it like five times. Like like this. It's the only thing the actors can do.
I mean, in all honesty, this should be a 6-episode series at best instead of 8.
We got 2 more, right? 2 more?
3?
3? Yeah.
6,
what episode
7,
was
8.
this?
Yeah. This was 5.
5?
Yeah, so we got 3 more left.
3 left.
Should be 6, not 8. I mean, it's just you don't have to do. They're totally stretching this whole thing out a bit too much, and I get it. It's I mean, I guess it gives us stuff to talk about for an hour, but I mean, each week.
StarWars.com has released a Pip bookmark craft where you can
Let's
make your own
go.
Pip. I want everybody to print this out and make it by next week.
Pip, and that'll be everybody's extra has to be show and tell of what their Pip bookmark looks like.
Pip is probably the best part of the show. I mean, no, Soul is, but Pip is good.
No, Soul is tormented, man, though, because he did something wrong, but I don't know if he did it intentionally or
probably not. I think he's too sweet of a guy.
I don't think
break my heart.
He did anything intentionally. Is all I'm going to say. I think that perhaps they caused an accident at the coven that killed all those witches somehow, and we'll find out. I mean, that'll be.
I mean, it was very interesting that
Ted, are you referring to Steve or are you referring to the show? Because I feel like Steve has really put me through the ringer tonight.
Your apologies are appreciated, Ted.
Whatever it's for, whether watching the show or Steve, yes, Steve has put me through it tonight.
But it was interesting that OSHA was like calling May out for starting the fire that killed everybody, and May didn't really respond to it, which makes me think that she didn't do the thing that killed all the witches.
I don't think so either. And May saying, but I also don't think that OSHA's been brainwashed by anybody like May thinks.
That was the accusation of a crazy person. It's like for her to put that on her, like gaslighting. Like, it was
crazy.
Yes, no, what Brian's saying is that May is the crazy person, and when you're the conspiracy theorist and people don't believe you, you've been brainwashed. Your eyes have not been woken up yet.
That could be. I mean, I just feel like there's still some good in May. Not that they're
back when we watched a good show, Garrison.
Not that I know you are, Ted. Apparently everybody is. But I still feel like May is a character that's not going to, at this point, go back to being super evil and try and kill Soul. I just don't I don't feel like that's the way that we're going with that character. Could prove me wrong, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like she's gonna be okay. I feel like everything's gonna be fine for May.
Man, I don't know. I think we're gonna lose
like we did Garrison.
Yeah, we're gonna lose one half of the sisterhood.
Maybe maybe, but I think that it'll be accidental. I don't think it'll be. I think that May will have a hero moment to keep her sister from getting killed. I could see that happening easily.
I mean, because I don't want him to ride off into. I don't want him to ride off into the sunset. I really don't.
I'm not saying that. No, I mean, I'm saying May's going to have a hero moment and die in the process. So I'm with you that I don't think both sisters make it out, but I think May's going to have a hero moment, save her sister from the stranger. I just feel like that's going to happen. But
I just don't see a redemption in 3 more episodes, but we'll see.
Oh, they've got play. I think the next 3 episodes are going to be an hour long each. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not sure Headland has that in her, but
Garrison.
I'm not sure I have that in me.
Garrison, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at GRyfun3, GRYFUN3, on Letterboxd at GRyfun, GRYFUN, where I'm still continuing my Fox rewatch. I'm up to the Deadpool 2 supercut.
The super duper cut, yes.
Yeah, super duper cut, correct.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct on that. Then you got to watch, of course, Once Upon a Deadpool.
Of course.
The third cut of Deadpool 2, but it's considered a separate film because it was released separately under a separate title.
And theatrically released.
Yes, during Christmas time.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. and then put on Blu-ray. Obviously, I have it.
Yep.
Not on 4K though.
No slipcover. Those jerks never made a slipcover for it.
I do have a slipcover for this one. This is the film
do.
after that, and then the last film I don't have a slipcover for.
Oof.
But just four more things. So
You've got you went a lot harder than I did on my rewatch of the.
And notice it took me a lot longer.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, it did. I even got through my Aliens rewatch before you.
I am watching other stuff because I sit down and I'm like, I kind of would rather want to watch a movie I want to watch right now.
I feel you, man. I got into that. Yeah, because I was gonna watch AVP and Requiem, and I was like, no, I'm not doing either one of those. I'll just watch the Alien movies.
Like this Saturday, I could pull a 3-peat. I could go to the theater and watch Bike Riders.
Yeah.
There's
so much out.
And Horizon all in the same day.
Well, Horizon's 3 hours, dude. That's gonna.
Yes, I understand.
All right, but
and Quiet Place Day One's only an hour 39, so you know.
Oh, nice.
Steve, you're completely wrong about all the characters in that film. Jacob, where can people find you on the interweb? I really enjoyed the most recent episode of Good Day for a Movie podcast. I loved hearing anyone talk about Inside Out 2 because that movie is amazing.
Yeah, Roth from Wyoming on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. Good Day for a Movie podcast is the podcast that I do. We had our longtime friend Marissa on to talk about Inside Out 2. I figured we needed a female's perspective on that movie.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because Tate and I just don't quite bring that. So
it's understandable.
Even though we try.
Understandable.
Next up, though, is Glory. It's a movie that came out on my Deucecast, my favorite summer episode, and have not watched it yet. I may watch it. I'm thinking tomorrow night. I am on my X-Men rewatch as well, but I've stalled out when Logan boards the plane and the Wolverine to go to Japan.
Oh, man, you've got a ways to go.
Yes. So I'm like, what is that, 20, 30 minutes into that movie? And then I'm gotta break, really get some work in here before
I understand.
Deadpool and
Me
Wolverine.
too, Ted. That is the least that Steve Palpatine can do, is leave us a like.
Yeah, and a subscribe.
And a subscribe.
Oh, God. I feel like I was going to say something. Anyway, whatever.
X-Men rewatch. The Wolverine.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have never seen Glory.
Glory. You have not seen Glory? Yeah.
I mean, I need to see that.
Was that filmed in Brunswick also?
Yeah, it was filmed in Jekyll Island, which is a 20-minute drive from my house, which is in Glenn County, the county I live in. Glenn County just consists of Brunswick and St. Simon's Island, which are basically just the same. I mean, you get on St. Simon's in Brunswick. It's not really a different location, even though people like to pretend it is. But anyway, and Jekyll is...
Do they have separate mayors?
No. St. Simon's is not a city.
Is Jekyll Island an autonomous zone?
Jekyll Island is a state-run island that was abandoned by rich people. Like the Rockefellers and stuff used to live there. And
is there a Hyde Island nearby?
But Jekyll Island is bougie now, right? Or I know St. Simon's Island.
St. Simon's is more bougie.
Well, so like God, we don't need to be talking about this live on air.
Is it like Myrtle Beach of South Carolina of Georgia?
The real bougie area is Sea Island. If you got money, you're on Sea Island.
Yes, Sea Island. I've heard that term as well.
I don't see an island right now. I don't know where that's at.
You have to go in St. Simon's to get on Sea Island, but and St. Simon's they consider themselves bougie, but.
It's like the 30
properties, so.
Oh, Brian is off the grid.
I am.
But he does hang out in the Deucecord.
Always.
Don't worry, I'll never invite Steve Palpatine to the Deucecord. But
I think he needs an invite.
He might already be in there.
He might already be in the Deucecord. But
I would like Steve Palpatine specifically in there, though.
Yeah,
I think someone might be changing their name and picture soon.
Yeah, that account's not. Yeah, that account needs to be in the Deucecord. But and Ted, Ted, I don't think Ted's in there. Ted, if you want to hang out in the Deucecord, please email us at thedeucecast@gmail.com, and I can throw you a link to the Discord. It's fun. We talk about TV, movies, sports. I mean, anything and everything.
Music,
food, anything and everything you can imagine. We talk about in the Discord. So yeah, Ted, if you ever want to hang out, please email at thedeucecast@gmail.com. Speaking of the Deucecast movie show, that's the podcast that I've been doing for what feels like 20 years. We're I think we're coming up on 16 or 17, but it's ridiculously long. As Jeremy Burgess put it, it's a prolific podcast. Now, David thinks that word means something positive. It might not. It just means that we've released a lot of episodes. That's all that means.
Correct.
If you listen
it's
to
a neutral word.
Yeah, if you listen to this week's Deucecast, David does an intro, and he acts as if the word prolific is a positive thing, and it's a neutral word. It's just a neutral word. But what we did for this week's episode, because we were on vacay, or at least one of us was, we released the 2024 Deucey's Reaction show with one Garrison Rifen, Jacob Roth from Wyoming, Aussie Nate, and Jeremy Burgess himself commentating and reacting. Yes, go ahead.
That show is driven by Aussie Nate. I mean,
the show is driven by Aussie Nate. Yes. Yeah, he was the one that came up with the concept of the Deucey's Reaction show. Yeah. And he does
along for the ride.
He does a great job of moderating that particular episode. And then we also released some extra footage of Jeremy talking about every single screenplay nomination, which was really funny. And then if you stick around to the very end, you will get to hear one Steve Glosson wax eloquent as he's trying to
it's brilliant.
Get a good take in. I'll just leave it at that. Yes, exactly, Steve.
I love the music that kicked in when
he was
apologizing.
And I don't know if David edited that in.
Didn't come up with Dr. Earl's name for a bit.
It was great. It was a fun listen. That's the first time I had heard that, so it was fun to hear that. But we release an episode every Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, we are having an actual documentarian join us for the top 10 documentaries. So I'm excited. Gentleman's name is Ken. I'll let him, if he wants to throw his last name out
Burns?
there. No, it's not Ken Burns. What if it was? I should have left it at that.
You can't Burns is documentarian and then Ken and not be expecting to go there.
I should have left it at that. No, I'll let him say his full name if he wants to on the episode. But from what I understand, he's working on a documentary about Steve McQueen's car, if I'm not mistaken, from Bullet. I don't know exactly where that project is, but I know he's been working on that project for a long time. And he's a filmmaker. So
one of my favorite things is that my grandpa's a huge Steve McQueen fan.
Oh, okay.
And if I ever come over to his house, he sometimes your grandparents do things that they've already shown you like a million times.
Sure, 100%.
Just let him do it
over and over again.
He'll turn on Bullet. He's like, you got to watch this scene where driving down San Francisco down these hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Gramps.
I'm
the hard part about getting older is like you're doing that and you're like, am I doing this? Right? Am I? Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and Ralph as Pinky 2 and Pinky 3. Roth.
I'm assuming I'm Ralph.
Wait, who's Ralph?
Yeah, you're Ralph. Roth.
I think I'm Ralph.
You're Ralph. Exactly. That's right. Ted's obviously been a long-time listener because he knows Pinky. So that's cool, Ted. I love hearing Pinky's name thrown out there. But I can be found at the Michael Nip on X, at the Deucecast. But mostly I hang out in the Discord. So again, if you come across this, you want to and you want to join our Discord, please email us at thedeucecast@gmail.com. We will be back next week to talk about the 6th episode of The Acolyte and whatever other shenanigans we get into, as happens quite often. Really appreciate Steve Palpatine in the chat.
Yes.
Not the OG.
Earl's about to
no,
join.
Earl.
No.
Sorry, buddy.
Let's be clear.
No, Earl. Do not join, Earl.
The original.
Oh, this is the original Steve Palpatine? I don't think it's the original Steve Palpatine.
This is not the original Steve Palpatine.
This is not the original Steve Palpatine.
I'm pretty confident about that.
This is an imposter, Steve Palpatine.
I remember the original Steve Palpatine now. Wow.
Yeah, this is not the OG.
I think so.
But we'll talk about it.
I think I was in the chat then, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after. But Earl, sorry you didn't make it tonight. It's okay. I hope you enjoyed the bike riders. I do look forward to hearing you talk about that. Ted, thanks for joining, man.
Remember,
hey, if you come across this, if the algorithm somehow like throws this in your feed, we need subscribers badly for us to keep doing this. So please subscribe, like, all that jazz. Garrison, what are you gonna say?
Remember, there are more of us.
Right. Okay, I think that's a good place to end.